Right, so The Man with the Golden Gun. Okay, so I still think that we are in the weird era of James Bond, of the James Bond franchise, where the producers don't really know what this is. You know, they don't know what they're, you know, like Sean Connery leaving. Oh dear, let's get George Lazenby. Oh no, that didn't work. Bring back Sean Connery. Oh, but he's gone now again. Bring in Roger Moore. And it's like, at this point, it's sort of like, it's okay, but are we going to get rid of Roger Moore after this second film, you know, and and try and find another actor? Are we going to go through all this again? And fortunately, that didn't happen. Roger Moore kept on going with the role. This is his second film, and I actually would say I actually prefer this film. I think this is a much better film than Live and Let Die. Live and Let Die has a better theme song and a better title. Lulu did the song for Man with the Golden Gun. I'm going to read some of the lyrics here for you, because I think it's quite funny. I think that some of the lyrics are quite funny here. So, he has a powerful weapon. He charges 1,000,000 a shot. An assassin that's second to none. The man with the golden gun. Love is required whenever he's hired. It comes just before the kill. I would say this film has a much better story. It's more personal, you know, because Bond, you know, it's got a much better villain. Like Christopher Lee is just the best villain. He is, and it's kind of I actually think this film would have worked better as a Sean Connery film, to be honest with you. Like seeing Christopher Lee and Sean Connery opposite each other, you know, mano y mano, that would have been cool. But whatever, we got Roger. But this film, again, it's directed by Guy Hamilton, who did the last one, and he did Diamonds Are Forever. So again, it's like they want to try and recapture that same magic as Goldfinger. Yeah, Christopher Lee. I would say he's one of the best villains of this franchise, because he's just Christopher Lee. You know, he's Dracula. Like he honestly doesn't need to do much to be intimidating. He could literally just walk into a room, say nothing, and he's already scared the bejesus out of everybody. I love the fact that he is just this obsessed kind of like killer that just really wants to beat James Bond just so he can say he's better. You know, not because he wants like money to kill James Bond. Like he just wants to kill James Bond because it's like he's a sadistic killer. He's got this girlfriend, well, she's not really a girlfriend, she's more like a slave really, but like, you know, Maud Adams is the Bond girl in this, and Britt Eklund as well. But Maud Adams, you know, it's like she's kind of like being abused by him and stuff like that, and he's so sadistic towards her. Like he you know, it's sort of like he needs to do something sadistic in order to get it up, if you know what I mean. Not to sound too weird. This has turned into a weird video. Oh dear. But no, I think this is a much better film than the last one, because it goes to a more exotic like location, like the last one trying to be like a blaxploitation film. This one is trying to be like a sort of a Bruce Lee kind of kung fu martial arts type film. Not all the way through, but like there's definitely parts of this film where it does feel like a Bruce Lee film, you know, like Enter the Dragon or what have you. And you know, I would say as well, out of all the Roger Moore movies, this definitely does try to stay serious. Like definitely with the villain is very serious, and compared to some of the other Roger Moore films, like there is more of a seriousness to this film, but there is a lot of goofy moments as well. And there's a flying car, there's a little midget called Knick Knack, and Christopher Lee has a third nipple. There you go, he has a third nipple, and he's got a laser. And I don't really know what the plot is of, you know, what his evil plan is. I can't really remember, to be honest with you. Something about solar energy, giant laser beams. I don't know. Cocaine. I can't remember what it was. But look at Britt Eklund. Isn't she fit? Yeah. So Britt Eklund is in it, and she's you know, she's easy on the eyes. But I would say in this film, though, I prefer Maud Adams. I think Maud Adams is a much better Bond girl, and I wish that she could have survived in the end. Because you do feel kind of like sorry for her, because she's in this like abusive relationship, this horrible, sadistic, toxic person, called Scaramanga, and he's got 3 nipples. And it's like you feel sorry for her because she's got a boyfriend who has 3 nipples. So you kind of feel like she should live in the end, but that doesn't happen. And then obviously as well, like let's be controversial here. As I said, like the last two the last film and this one, it does feel like they were written for Connery, and Roger Moore is they haven't quite figured out who Roger Moore is as this character. And there's a bit in this where he slaps her.
I don't know.
And you just kind of think that that's a little bit like that's not right, really. But I would argue, that's who James Bond is. He's a bit of a dick. He slaps women to get information, and to give Roger Moore some credit, he does a pretty good job. I mean, I'm no expert at slapping women in the face. But from my layman's perspective, I think he does a good job at slapping a woman in the face. But clearly, with the times changing, and obviously now looking back on it, yeah, it's not cool. Don't do that. And I think Roger Moore at the time was like, should I do this? Do you really want me to slap her? It's like, yes, it's in the script. You got to slap her. And it's like, okay, all right, I'll slap her. And, he did his job. He did his job, bless him. He showed up to set, was just like, I don't want to do this. But, if Roger Moore's got to slap a bitch, Roger Moore's got to slap a bitch. It's just how it is. Anyway. Enough about slapping women. There is a lot of it in this franchise, though, isn't it? It's almost like you feel dirty watching it. Like you're just like, oh my god, like really, like there's somebody wrote that back in the 60s or in the 70s and was just like, Bond slaps woman. Dot. It's like it was perfectly fine, perfectly okay. It's like it's yeah, don't slap women. Don't slap women. Yeah, what else can I say about this film? I will just say, though, I prefer this film to the last one, but I feel like this film doesn't really have a lot going on in the end. Obviously, the whole film is building to a big duel between James Bond and Scaramanga, Christopher Lee. And, that's what you're there for. That's what you're there for. And, okay, that's quite good. But, I don't know, like, I wanted a little bit more, like maybe a few more henchmen for James Bond to kill, perhaps. Maybe a henchman for James Bond to fight. All of the final action scene. All it just comes down to is just literally James Bond pretending to be a mannequin, and then you got me. That's all it sort of comes down to. It's just one moment where he shoots him. It could be a little bit more exciting. It's not. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not having a go at it. But then there's another bit where Britt Ekland, Goodnight, her name is. She's called Goodnight. She knocks out one of the guards, and then he falls into like a vat of I think it's cocaine or something. I don't know, vat of chemicals or whatever. But anyway, that's it. And then after that, they get on a boat, get jiggy on a boat. Or at least attempt to get jiggy, and then Knick Knack, the little dwarf, comes in and tries to kill Bond. This is a bit goofy, and it's like it would have been nice if we'd had a little bit. There was a little bit more action, There is a really good car chase though in this film, and there's a stunt in this film which we all know about, where it does a little sort of loop-de-loop, flip-de-flip sort of thing. But there's a silly like whistle like that. It kind of just ruins the whole stunt because it's a great stunt. It's a brilliant stunt, and obviously as well the J.W. Pepper is in it, and obviously like the film is obviously it's trying to be like kung fu movies, all that stuff. But the kung fu or anything like that. It's not good. Like, and that's another thing. Roger Moore. I think Sean Connery was a better fighter. Like when he was in a fight, you know, it proper looked a little bit more convincing. I know it's all films and it's all make believe and it's all made up, but even in like the early James Bond films, like when he threw a punch, it felt a little bit better. And Roger Moore is just not as good. Like Roger Moore was a lover, not a fighter. He could slap a woman though. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. Right? But it's just not as good with in the fights. You know, a little bit weak, a little bit. You know, like not as hard. You know, he's not as hard as Sean Connery. Sean Connery was like a tough Scottish guy. So yeah, Man with the Golden Gun. I like it. I prefer it to Live and Let Die because it's a little bit more exotic. It's in a better location. You know, there's a pretty good car chase. Yeah, Nick Nack's funny. I like Nick Nack. But the thing that makes this film, I think, great is Christopher Lee. I love Christopher Lee. I think he's one of the best like villain actors, definitely. Anyway, yeah, he's great. I love him, and he's really scary. And yeah, when he gets killed, you're like, yeah. But no, it's still. I feel like though, I know I keep going on about this, but like I feel like with the next one after this, they kind of definitely figure out what Roger Moore is to you know, playing James Bond. They have more of an idea, more of a, you know, they're a little bit more like, yes, we get it. You know, we shouldn't be like trying to recreate Sean Connery again, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna end now, and we're gonna talk about The Spy Who Loved Me in the next video. So stay tuned for that. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye. Thank you. Goodbye. Bye.